We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com. You are listening to the Mother Love Show, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, my cyber babies. Welcome to another fantabulous day in Talk Radio. I am your awesome Talk Radio host, Mother Love, because if I don't believe I'm awesome, how am I going to get you to believe that I'm awesome? And I welcome each and every one of my cyber babies to the program. It is wonderful to be here with you as I sit in the air chair. We're going to have a fun, informative day today. Remember to like Mother Love on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Mother Love Show. You follow Mother Love, I'll follow you back. Holla. And welcome to all of my new Facebook fans and my new tweeters, whatever it is that y'all do when y'all connecting with your mother. I appreciate that. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you never know who's going to be on my YouTube channel. Like this handsome author in the studio with me today, who sent me this wonderful book. Man, you talking about a story. It's called A True Testimony of Life, Love, Laughter, Humor, and Hardship. Its title is called Raised in Hell, a nonfiction family drama by Dramedy, a nonfiction family dramedy. And the author is Deon D.Price, and he is in studio with me today. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hello, how are you? It was a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely, you too as well, and I appreciate it. He lives up in the Bay Area, and you know, we do phone calls with authors a lot, and he was like, no, I'm coming to the studio. I was like, hey, I reign supreme. I told you I'm awesome. Welcome.
Thank
So you got a chance
much.
to see family while you were down here?
Yes, we really had to take care of some business and then connect with some family that I haven't seen in a while. I do an LA trip at least twice a month. So
Oh, really? Twice a month?
Absolutely.
You could take them twice a month? You know, my relatives like fish. After 3 days, they all start stinking.
Right.
You know, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I have enough of them. You got to do them in sections.
You have
I saw
to.
you last month.
Okay, and do you find out that, especially when you live out of town and you go to visit family, it's like they figure like they should just dominate your time, just certain relatives. Why you go over Aunt Jean's house?
Right.
Why you always over her house? What?
Well, you almost have to come down in secret because if they find
you have
out
to sneak into.
Absolutely. If you don't say, well, why you didn't come by my house?
Because you don't have anything else to do with your time but come and visit them. And then when you come to visit, do you have good visits, or does it bring up old memories?
Oh, it's both. It's a mix. When family things, we have a lot of family business sometimes because. So sometimes it's business and sometimes it's just pleasure. We have a special event come down. So we mix it up a little bit.
That's
you can only do so much drama at a time, you know.
It'd be just too much. You know, and it's always the same people. Have you noticed that?
Well, you know, you got those certain family members, that's all they do. That's their
thing. That's their
nothing's never positive with some of them. Everything is always dramatic. So, every family member has at least that one dramatic queen, or the dramatic king that everybody makes it worse. If you're lucky, you only have one.
You get a group of them, and then they start multiplying, and they start making their kids pick up the gauntlet from where they. I'm like, come on, what is the deal? Now let's talk about your family and the reason why you wrote this book, Raised in Hell. I read this book. Matter of fact, I read it completely through, and then I went back and reread it because I was like, you were raised in hell. So, I mean, your mother had issues, and I mean, it's like a bunch of you guys, nine children, and did you ever get to meet your father? Cause
I did when I was, I met him when I was 9 years old, and I disconnected with him and didn't speak to him again until I was over 40.
And so what was, you over 40? You over 40 now?
I'm over 40, 46.
46.
And I'm almost 30 years out of high school. Class of 86 in the mix. I ain't changed. But yes, I reconnected with him when I was in my early 40s, and
What was that like?
It was uncomfortable, but I'm at peace. When you get a certain age, you're not mad at anybody anymore, because I am what I am. We all are a series of our experiences. So all the bitterness was gone. I had already survived the worst of the worst, so I had no reason to be upset at anyone at that point. So when I reconnected with him at 76, he is. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. And
so how is he?
He's doing well and actually still driving at 70-some years old. He's a truck driver in Louisiana. I'm like, you still driving, bro? He's like, yeah. He in Louisiana telling me how to get to work in Bay Area. No, you take the 5 to the 510. I'm like, bro, for real?
You live in Louisiana.
Right. So he's sharp as a tack, and so I reconnected with him was peaceful.
So now, and you had you guys were separated from your mother for a while. I mean,
Absolutely.
being passed from pillar to post with your sisters and brothers, and there were some that you were close to, and some that you were kind of distant from. Let's talk about that, especially coming from a big family.
Absolutely.
All those personalities.
Yes, ma'am. So, and that's what the really backdrop of this book is. It really encompasses the breakdown and the drama and the unity that really is a string that needs to hold every family together. A little spirituality, a little faith, and unity. So no matter what you go through, at the end of the day, there's no one's going to be as close as your family. So no matter what you go through, at the end of the day, that unity has to remain.
You would
time.
Hope.
Yes.
You would hope. And
yes.
Your childhood experiences sometimes can make those relationships so frayed
Absolutely.
and so fragmented. How bad did it get for you guys?
Well, it was from the beginning part. My mother got into substance abuse. She was an alcoholic and dealt with that. And she has a beautiful testimony by now, because she's overcome all of those things. And she can really proudly say how she got over it without any social assistance or any type of treatment. She just said enough is enough. But when she was going through that, it was really traumatic for me. And it was hard to see how our family went through it, but some people internalized it. Like some of my family members gravitated to the same conditions that she experienced because of that.
Just
to
get away from it?
Yes.
Just to numb themselves?
Yes. And the other side, some of us saw it as motivation to make us stronger persons, myself included. So I had seen what alcoholism does to an individual, their family, and their parental skills and all that, how it affect the children. It really made me a responsible drinker and a balanced adult to make sure I keep moderation involved. But boy, let me tell you, my mom's, her drink was, you know what a screwdriver is?
Vodka and orange.
And of course, and
you're not supposed to be able to tell that it's a vodka and orange juice, because vodka doesn't have a smell.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have any, it's clear.
It's clear.
So
it could be water.
All I would see her drink what I thought was orange juice, and she would lose her mind, start cussing people out, start throwing knives at people. And I'm thinking, what is in this orange juice that got her acting the fool?
Like, we are never drinking that.
It wasn't until I was 12 years old until I realized it was that Russian vodka. I'd be over my cousin's house. I said, Deon, you want some orange juice? No, I'm slapping it out of people's hand. That's something's wrong with this boy. My uncle said, boy, you pour out one more carton of orange juice, I'm going to choke the hell out of you.
You think you raised in hell, you getting ready to get kicked to hell.
So seeing those things and taking the humorous part of it, you have to take the lighter side of everything so that the stress levels go down. I think one of the testimonies in Raising Hell is to embrace it. Everything is obviously not a laughing matter. However, but humor takes the edge and the stress out of everything. And it really helped me navigate through this very, very dysfunctional environment and an even worse location at the time. Being in Los Angeles, some of the chapters
in the hood.
Oh my goodness! Some of the things
all
that they
this
went
stuff
through
around you
at the worst time, during the heart and the height of the crack epidemic.
Yes,
it's like a powder keg of worse. You got alcoholism, you got poverty, you got gangs. You have the worst violent time in history of Los Angeles, and you got the worst drug that ever hit the community, and we still haven't recovered. I maintain, I've written about this and published, that the crack epidemic was the worst thing that ever hit Los Angeles in history. The 65 riots before I was born, the 92 riots, the earthquakes, nothing hit L.A. harder than crack.
And especially the black community.
Absolutely. And we still have generations suffering from that, because now some of these people who are crack babies now, they're parents.
Right.
And now they sit in those same misguided messages. So we're still suffering from it.
And and a lot of people, unfortunately, especially people who are in poverty, don't realize that they can rise above this. Mm-hmm. They always think that, well, this is my circumstances, this is my environment, it is what it is, and I'll just deal with it. And instead of saying, oh, next.
And that's one of those things that community parenting that used to be. I think I'm the last generation to experience that in the 70s. After crack, those things went out the window. Don't touch my kids, don't touch me. Everything was all privatized, and all those illnesses stayed within the house, and they never got cured. And
it just got worse. It turned into an epidemic.
So that's Los Angeles. Also, the backdrop of Raising Hell is of a character. Someone, one of the reviewers up in Northern California, he said he reviewed the book, and he said, surprisingly, you have a very unique history of Los Angeles. And I didn't intend on having it being a history of LA.
I love that part about it, because, I mean, people, when you read the book, you take the reader. I went right into your childhood. I could be in the neighborhoods, and it's not over descriptive. And, there are times I laughed out loud. A whole bunch of times I laughed out loud, and I said, boy, do I know what this child went through. He got the crazy mama with the extension cord. Absolutely. They hit you with anything coming. Look, we used to tell my mother, we call it a child abuse sin on you. She said, good, and let them come get all of y'all at one time. You're in a group, take them all at one time. And so we sit down, and they would always tell me, shut up, you going to tell mama, they going to come and get us. She was like, you got to go in a group. We don't have that anymore.
Oh, it's really lost.
And when you see that, and you have children, you have 4 children, and you see that they're being raised in a different kind of environment. Yes. I want to know, what made you say, I'm all right about crazy town. I'm all right about my family.
Well, you know what happened, Mother Love? I was when I left L.A., the first thing smoking. I had people laughing. I said, when I graduated, people, hallelujah, we graduated. Before the cap went up, before it hit the ground, I was already on my way out to L.A. I was out. And I had nothing in my backpack but some basketball shoes, some cookies, and some drawers.
Okay.
Everything a brother needs.
Clean drawers, some cookies.
That's all the necessities,
And some tennis shoes.
I took a Greyhound bus from Los Angeles, downtown L.A., up to the Trans-Bay Center in Northern California, San Francisco. Did not look back. And I had a brother up there, up in the Bay Area at the time, and that was it. And what I started doing...
And he encouraged you to come.
He told me to get the heck out of there with everything you do, no matter what. And I really appreciate him for that. His name is Michael. And he navigated me through that. And the first thing I did was start getting involved in a college fraternity and doing volunteer work. And that's when I found my niche, so to speak. Because as soon as I joined that fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, by the way.
Sigma Sweetheart President, thank you very much.
Let it be known.
Hey, my brothers in the blue and white. My brothers in the blue and white.
The first thing they did, we started doing volunteer work in community in East Oakland, Hunters Point, San Francisco, and East Palo Alto, very notorious communities in the Bay Area. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. The very thing that I had just left, Mother Love, in Southern California, it had gravitated up to the Bay Area. And you know what they say, you can run, but you can't hide. So
and
all
when
that stuff
God
hit.
put a fire in your belly, you can run all the way from here to Tim. You be running like a Kenyan.
Yeah, for nothing. And what I found that I started dealing with these issues, and it really, really touched my spirit. And I went back the next semester and said, this is it for me. I changed my major to communication and youth development, and that became my life's work. And that's how I started doing it. And I was also at the same time going in and out of these Bay Area comedy clubs, End Zone Nightclub and Jeffrey's Inner Circle up there. And at night, I was working at Juvenile Hall, doing life skills classes. And you know what? I was telling the same stories to the kids that I was telling in the nightclub. So I'm like, this is a connection here. So that became my teaching tool to reach people, young people, through humor. And none of these things are new. Poverty is not new. Violence is not new. Alcoholism is not new. So everything that I was speaking was resonating with these young people, and it gravitated toward me, and it made me a very successful youth worker. And I said, I need to put this down in a mass media and try to write blogs, and that's what Raising Hell became. But by accident, I had 2 books going at the same time. And I had a author, a writer mentor, and he said, this is great, but who cares about your personal life? Why don't you put these 2 projects together of how your life as a youth worker and put these 2 projects together? Then you have a mass media project that will appeal to more people. I said, that makes sense. So in every chapter of Raising Hell, I have an anecdote, I have a lesson, I have a life skill, or metaphor, or something that they can use.
You've got teaching moments in every chapter.
So that's how it came about there.
I think that is absolutely wonderful because we need, especially in the African American community, especially these young men, because, our brothers have been just maligned and beat down over the centuries. And I celebrate my kings. I celebrate my kings and my little princes, my grandchildren. This is how we're greeted. Good morning, my prince. Good morning, my queen. Good morning, my princess. Good morning, my queen.
Zumunda.
We from Cleveland. I want them to know, and we sit and I read their history to them. I tell them about the kings and queens of Africa. I tell them about the great inventors and the wonderful community service people in our culture. They know about Phyllis Wheatley. They know about Benjamin Banneker. My grandchildren range from 4.5 to 12.
That's beautiful.
And they know that they can do anything they put their mind to. Don't tell me, come in here telling me what I can't do. I don't know nothing about I can't.
How inspiring is that?
We were encouraged like that. The neighborhood encouraged us, and that's what our young people need. They need people that look like them, who can talk to them and with them and not at them and over them and down to them. And because you know what that's like. You know what it's like to have your mama just act. My mother, when she would come in after she done had her few tastes at the pit, she'd come home and knock all the chairs off the table. And she felt like throw everything out the refrigerator. Who drank up my Pepsi? Everybody going crazy. Just lose their mind. And you like, okay, I did what you do. I turned mine into humor because nobody would know.
Self-destruct.
I would have self-destruct, and then I got a mouth, and I could tell you had a mouth, and I bet your mind was going 15 miles an hour. And when she would ask you stuff, and you would want to answer, but
you had to be careful. That was also a teaching tool for us in that old school discipline that I think today's youth generation is lacking right now. Because some of the things that we experience, the parents would actually catch a case right now.
Right.
As far as, even though she had an alcoholic condition, she also had that parenting, nurturing side that did things like make sure you were speaking correct English. And I'm communicating with people saying that my mother would catch me if I said a double negative or whatever. She popped me in the mouth. Quick. Wow, pow. I was like living with Bruce Lee or somebody. She'd have a cigarette in one hand and a cup of coffee in it that hear me say something. Pow!
And coffee don't speak.
No, she wouldn't spill it to skip. She was sharp. But what it did is taught me to think. And all those things that I learned there, I use it in my adulthood, in my parenting, and in my teaching, and also make me a sharper. So like you just said a moment ago, you take the good and the bad. We're all a victim, or actually a product of our experiences. Now, you can make that and let that environment crush you, or you can draw strength and excel because of it. So I think the majority of people are experiencing some of these dysfunctions, but if they can find strength, if I can use this product and this book to help inspire young people, to help them navigate through the system they're going through, it's a plus. I work with the Treasure Island Job Corps right now in Northern California, where we help young people who have had some challenges, promote them and help navigate them, help them get into employability and professionalism. And you should hear some of the stories they tell. My story can't hold a match towards some of the drama that these young kids are going through.
Could you believe it?
I couldn't. I'm like, wow. Raising Hell don't have nothing on what these kids are going through.
And see, that's where we have got to stop the cycle.
Absolutely.
And it is our responsibility. We can't wait for the government. We can't wait for, we have to do it. When I say we the new authoritative figures. I remember when I was young, they said, don't trust anybody over 30. Wow. Trust everybody over 30 because you've done something. You've been through something.
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand that. And what we have to do is stop and realize that we have value. Each and every one of these individuals has value.
Absolutely.
And allow them to be able to see that they're falling through the cracks. They've taken arts out of the school. They have no premium on education. And I can see that even with your alcoholic mother, education was important.
Oh yeah, she made sure.
You getting popped for a preposition.
And it was the opposite, because she used this, I used to call it reverse psychology. I got up one day and said, I'm not going to school. And she's like, I don't care where you go, but you're getting the hell out of here. And she hit me like, wow, if she don't care, I might as well go to school. Okay. So it worked. You know, she used some type of, she made me care. She made me think she was the craziest person on the planet. And that scared me into doing the right thing.
And then one day you wake up and you go, she really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, she was doing something. She was teaching me a lesson. I didn't even know it. So the lesson in this is that we can't change those things you just mentioned previously about the school system. We're not going to stop violence. We're not going to stop drugs in these communities. And I used to fight that fight, Mother Love, and when I first got into this business of youth development, and it used to kill my spirit to see how struggling it is to see these young people suffering in these communities. So it hit me one day, you know what, you're not going to be able to change the structure and the political powers that be. That's too much. So I said, I'm going to spend my energy on each individual in my reach. I may not be able to stop violence, but I can help that young person navigate where he will be less likely of being susceptible to violence. And that's my mission right now. So when I went up in Los Angeles, it was so challenging. I lived in near I went to Dorsey, which the history of Los Angeles, right next to the jungle, which is considered blood neighborhood. Yeah. We moved around so unstable, instability. We moved all the way on the other side of Los Angeles on 80th and Hoover, which is considered deep Crip neighborhood. Do you know I literally had to change clothes because if I got off practice in basketball at 7, 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock at night, 7 sometime, I couldn't be caught wearing Dorsey gear because them Crips would think you must be in blood. Right. I couldn't wear blue, couldn't wear red. So I had to literally change clothes, turn my Dorsey paraphernalia inside out, and take a bus all the way across town. And mind you, I'm the new person on the block. So in that time during the mid-'80s, if you're the new kid on the block walking through somebody's neighborhood, that was a death sentence. I literally had to jump through alleys, you hear me? To get home so these new cats that didn't know me from Adam wouldn't jump on me or shoot me or whatever. And there was so much of that going on. People getting shot up left and right. Is that still going on? Absolutely. Absolutely.
We got to take a break. Yes. And when we come back, I want to ask you so many things because this is it's an easy read. It's an easy read. And somebody's been trying to get on the phone with us on the line. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to take your call. So you just hold on there.
Thank you
We'll
very
be
much.
back. In the studio with me is author Deon D.Price, and he's also a youth worker and advocate for our young people. And we'll be back after these messages.
You're listening to The Mother Love Show, right here on LA Talk Radio.
We are back in studio with me is the very lively, very funny Deon D.Price. He's written a book. It's about his life and his life's work. It's called Raised in Hell, a nonfiction family drama. You have no control over the environment into which you are born, but you can control how that environment will affect you. You felt it necessary to put this down in a book. I love the way that the book reads. It's such an easy read. And the fact that you put the pictures in the back so we could, and then I cheated, because I was like, I don't know what happened. And I said, he got a couple pictures in the back. Hey, there's some pictures in here.
Yes.
So tell me what the response was like when your family...
Yes. and Mother Love, when you're dealing with such personal issues, you are going to get that push and pull where some people understand the bigger picture and some people are resistant. So some people, some of my family members are just really... there's just a couple of them where I don't think that we should air this. I don't want to revisit any old wounds because it's difficult. It's difficult. But the majority of them understand the bigger picture is that if someone could learn from our drama and draw strength from it, then it's a plus. And if you look at the whole book, it's basically a success story.
It totally is a success story.
Everyone it's all doing well. They're living kids. Everybody's living well. So it's a success story. So, but then, you got
that's what I got out of
it.
I got a success story. We're talking about saving America's youth and making sure they know that they have value. So now, when your mother read it, she read it?
Oh yes, and that was the strength I got because once some of the resistance from some of the family members, they start giving me the drama about why would you say all this stuff, and
this is your truth though.
Absolutely.
This is from your
point
of
view.
view.
This is my experience, and my response to that was, listen. Mommy is what we call her. She's about to turn 80 years old next month.
Happy birthday.
Isn't that love? You're going to have a big event down here next month. But she has been in the presence, when I've delivered this message live in front of an audience, a community event, or any type of major, she's been in the audience celebrating this message and giving her testimony. So if I had her blessing,
the rest of y'all can go somewhere and
right.
twist what he twists, and we ain't talking about his wrist. Because they're gonna do that. They're gonna be naysayers. They're gonna be people to tell you shouldn't do that.
Right.
But they don't give you a reason why you shouldn't do it. Now, if you don't want to open the old wounds, that's on you. But this was for you. Mm-hmm. Did you find it cathartic as well as seeing yourself grow as a man?
Oh, absolutely. Each parent. That's why I said that everything that I've gone through, there isn't a day or a week when I'm not using some of the tools or some of the messages that I've learned when I was back in little. I mean, even I teach every day. And even recently, when I do my life skill sessions, I share with, when I was in high school, you can learn from anyone, all your experiences. I'm on the RTD, but I'm dating myself. They used to call the bus upstairs the RTD. I'm sitting on the bus.
The Regional Transit Department.
Right. We used to call it the rough, tough, and dangerous. But I'm sitting on the bus going to high school, right? And this old, he must have been indigent. They called him a bum. No one wanted to sit by him. Bus was crowded. I'm on my way to Dorsey High. And I can tell no one wanted to sit him because it was a bum. He was probably all
smelling
on the
fine
bus,
and
right?
everything.
I was so sleeping tired. I said, look, I don't care. I'm sitting by this man. And out of the blue, this man rose up. And I'd never seen his eyes before. He said, let me tell you something, young blood. Always stay away from raggedy cars and raggedy women. And he went right back to sleep.
He had to give you that lesson.
For some reason, that was on his spirit. And it messed with my head. I'm like, what's that? Was it some sort of subliminal message or whatever?
No, that was straight up. That was straight up.
I carried that with me all through high school and college. Then it hit me one day, wow, you know what? That man gave me a message that I needed 20 years prior in my life. Because you know what? What's the most difficult thing? How are you going to travel through life? Your vehicle, success, education, how are you going to get from A to B? That's valuable. And who you partner your life with.
Now.
Two of the most difficult things you have, if those two things are working in harmony and are good, you're in good shape. And those two. And I tell people, I had some raggedy cars in my life, but I ain't never had a raggedy woman.
You don't need no raggedy. And see, when people think raggedy cars, it's a vehicle, and just like you brought up, education is a vehicle.
Absolutely.
Conducting yourself
it's a metaphor that I use.
Absolutely.
You have to get there.
And when they talk about raggedy women, we're not talking about raggedy clothes. We're talking about raggedy attitude, raggedy spirit.
And that could really be the most stressful thing in your life if you have someone weighing you down and not supporting you.
You know what Scripture says? Do not become unequally yoked.
Speak that.
When you're going to be yoked, you got to be yoked. And that's why I can never understand in relationships when people would say, he completes me, she completes me. Well, I was complete before I rolled up in here.
Right.
So, and I'm bringing a banquet to the table.
There you go.
What you got for me, baby? Yeah. And I got a banquet back. And so we can sit and we can eat and we can get full.
And everyone brings something to the table.
Everybody brings something to the table. Bring your whole self to the table.
And also, that having a family, having such a broken family really made me, and I got to give props to my oldest brother, Herman Roberts. And in the book, he's a star in this book.
Oh,
because he, as a young man, he really took us by the horns and saved us, coming out of here, getting us out of this mess with his young family, which was very difficult.
But he never turned his back,
absolutely.
And his wife never turned his back.
They were beautiful people.
Never turned their back on you.
I'm going to visit them right after I leave
Are
here.
you? Please give them both a hug for me.
I will tell them. And that's a lesson that he put in me. No matter what, you maintain your original family. These broken families, no matter what, and these young men that I mentor, if you and that woman don't work out, so what? It's not that kid's problem. You maintain that family.
You got a co-parent
with all your life. It's not about you anymore.
Not when you have children.
Once that child, that's it. And he put that in me a long time ago. And to this day, I hold true to that. It made me a better father and a better, a parent. And I make sure that I try to make life better, not only for mine, but every young a young man I can within my reach. Because he didn't have to come from Compton to LA to come get us every weekend. No one would have been mad at him.
And buy your shoes.
Absolutely.
And take good care of you.
And knowing we had to go through, knowing the drama that we had to go through in high school with my mother buying me upside down Nike. You remember? With
the swoop. The kids just tease you to no end.
That's in this book, and people don't believe. Absolutely. And that's also a testament of how, as parents, we got to stay connected socially to our children because this generation may have some things that we may not understand, but we have to embrace it. Not accept everything,
right,
but we have to stay socially connected with your youth today so we can maintain their connection and be better guidance for them. My mother was so disconnected. She gave me 2 stripes, shoes with 2 stripes. I had to buy an extra stripe and paint an extra stripe so they could look like Adidas. That's how desperate I was because she didn't know.
Let me get a Sharpie pen. Don't Adidas have 3 stripes? Why I got 2 stripes?
I had to do what I had to do. You hear me?
This is what we do when you
That's
come
how we
from
stay
that.
disconnected.
They used to tell us, look, we can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
When you broke, you become very innovative.
You're very innovative. They could come up with some stuff. What y'all doing? We robbing Peter to pay Paul. We had to figure out what that would mean. My mother had this phrase. I'll tell you off the air what she used to say. One time she told us we were, because we're all stair steps and there's a 7-year difference between my older sister and my youngest sister. And my mother said one time, she said, I ain't even brushed my teeth. I ain't washed my behind. My feet ain't even touched the floor this morning. And I done shelled out $650.
Wow.
Because we were coming in, we were graduating from high school, and they were graduating from junior high school. And
cool.
She was like, here's money for your ring, here's money for your pictures, here's money for you. And then by the time I came in, she called me her $100 baby. I'm like, they need $20. I need $100.
You was high maintenance.
I was very high maintenance. That's what she said. Yeah, I had never heard that. And she said, oh, no, you high maintenance. And my mother had a book. She had a little ledger book. Whenever you came and borrowed money from, she's worse than a loan shark. $25 on 100. You give me, I give you 100. You give me back 125. Right. I said, Mama, the loan sharks only charge you 15%. You better not go to no loan shark. I was like, what? So she had a little book, and I had like 4 or 5 pages in there because if I could get $100, I could make $200-300.
You got to make it work.
You got to make it work. You become a hustler. You become, you don't allow your environment to say to dictate. Well, some people do. I want to know. This is what I want to ask you too especially about the book, because this is a heartfelt book and it is a success story. What was the most difficult part or the most challenging part about writing this?
What parts to leave out? I wanted to keep it in harmony with the message, but there's some things in there that really expose some things about some of my family members that they're not proud of. So I had to, editing some of those things out, but keeping the essence of it,
so you know what
out.
He was doing.
Absolutely, so that was the hard part, filling things out, and also, getting the support and chasing people down. Because I got people in Virginia, I got people in Illinois, and trying to get them to buy into, because you need affidavits from all this, and it came very close to not becoming because. If you don't have everyone's support and written support, you have to change names, and it would have lost its integrity. So that was the most difficult part, getting all of my family members, most as I could. I only came short on 2, getting all this family support and getting them to back the project wholeheartedly.
You don't have to say what their name is, but who was the family member that gave you the biggest pushback, and what were they pushing back about?
I think it was just emotional. I have a family member that's really hasn't really embraced those issues. And when you bring them up, this is 30 years ago. And I tease her about that. We have a family event every month. And to this day, she talks about in this. I believe my mom has a tough love. They were 11 and 12 years old, and my mom caught them smoking. And she of course old school. She said, "You want to smoke?" So she made my sister 7, 11, and 12 smoke a big old king size cigar. Bite the tip off. Bite the tip off. You want to smoke?
That
you want to smoke?
My mother did that to my brothers.
Bite the tip off and smoke a big old cigar, and it was funny enough. Of course, everything is funny enough. We sitting there giggling our butts off, and they traumatic.
They about to die.
Do you know 30 years later, if you bring that story up,
she's still mad.
Almost 50-year-old sister, or probably over 50 now. She was busting the tears. No, Maxine stole them cigarettes. She playing, and I had to smoke that cigar.
She has not let go of that
she
yet.
hasn't.
But see, we were talking about this earlier, how sometimes the family drama, they hold on to it, because that's their glue.
Yes.
If they let go of that, they will allow that situation
to
define them.
Writing, in a sense, is almost therapeutic.
No doubt.
You release it. So in a way, it's therapeutic. If you release it, it's out. It's fine. Take it what it is. And I think some people allow those ailments and those conditions to internalize, and it causes them more damage than good.
That crap will make you sick.
Absolutely.
It will kill you. People don't understand how internalizing that.
Yes.
Oh, they got mad at. See, I know they got. I got called everything but a child of God when I was writing my books, and they were like, "I cannot believe that you really." And I was. My mother was in my first book, and I took a picture of her with my niece when she was an infant, and everybody was like, "I cannot believe that you said this," and you said. I was like, but I'm not lying.
Yeah.
You know, and I never mentioned anybody's name.
There you go.
I just said my sister or my brother or my uncle or my cousin
and you
or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, I know this story is about me. I said,
let them figure out who it is.
Okay, yeah, the story is about you. But if you go and tell it, they gonna know it's about you, right? Not a speculation is which one of them was it, which cousin, which uncle, you know, because we all come, and I used to tell my family, I'm gonna get rich off of y'all. You guys,
right?
Yeah, because it was just too much. And my mother always said, you don't take life serious. Everything to you is a comedy routine. Everything to you is a joke. And I was like, well, I'm not coming out of it alive, so why would I take it serious? Pow! Shut up, heifer. To the point, when I would go to high school, they didn't say, "Ooh, what happened?" You know, what happened? I mean, because you could see 4 fingerprints backhanded
fingerprint on the jaw.
and my lip all swollen up on the side like this right here. And I don't know why she always slapped me on the right, and my lip be swollen up. And they would say, they didn't say what happened. They would say, "What you say this time?"
What'd you say this time?
I was like, I had my own opinion. She told me, you can't have no opinion. This is a totalitarian dictatorship in here. Now, when you leave, it's democracy. In here, what I say goes. That's why your mother was like, I drink my screwdrivers all day long. What you gonna do?
That's what she had to do.
You got to do what you got to do. In studio with me is Deon D.Price. His book, Raised in Hell, a nonfiction family drama, a true testimony of life, love, laughter, humor, and hardship. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to ask you about your journey coming through this, because it is a success story, and it's like you mounted up your wings like an eagle and said, I'm getting ready to fly over this. I mean, you could have went in any direction.
Absolutely.
Something had to grab you to say, this is what you're going to do. We'll be back because I want to find out what that is. We'll be back after these messages.
You're listening to the Mother Love Show, only on LA Talk Radio.
And we are back. In studio with me is the very lively author of a book called Raised in Hell, a nonfiction family dramedy. It's drama and comedy. Isn't most families drama and comedy?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you said you want to read an excerpt from Raised in Hell.
Just the beginning of it's a quote, and it really kind of epitomizes the whole project. And here it is. It says, laughter, chapter 1. It is said that laughter gives you the ability to laugh at things that may have caused stress, anger, or resentment. Laughter renews our senses, awakening new experiences of forgiveness. That quote comes from Ms. Lita Henson, who blessed me with that quote. And that basically epitomizes how we can get through anything. Again, everything is not a laughing matter, but if you handle things lightly, it'll help you reduce your stress and help you make the right decision. And because the bad decision could cost you your life, your freedom, or your education.
Or somebody else's.
Absolutely. So I think the better we handle stress, the better our decisions will be made.
And that's what we don't. Oh, are you kidding?
Absolutely.
I don't know where I would have been without the ability to laugh. And I can find humor in everything. Some of my humor has been known to be a little sick and twisted. Yeah.
And it's a good lesson in how, there is a lighter side. And it really can reduce the stress. And even death or trauma or violence or anything that we went through, things mentioned in this book, it can crush people if you allow it to overtake you.
But see, that's when you're giving away your joy. That's when you're giving somebody power. Just like your sister is still upset about the cigar smoking, and you got to let that go. You can't harbor things like that. Why do people give away that power? And how do you talk to the young boys about holding on to their power? Because I tell you, God made y'all black men because he knew y'all can handle it.
And that's really the strength that I draw from this lesson and the things that I've gained, the tools that I've learned, and the men that mentored me, and that makes me. I take a piece from every one of them, and I help helped me as a youth outreach worker and a life skills coach to reach as many of these young people as possible. Because I unfortunately, the decisions and the issues and the mistakes that we've made in my generation growing up in the 70s and 80s, if we make those same decisions today, the consequences are much worse than they were. For example, we were doing mischievous things in the 80s. We used to slap girls in the butt in middle school. And it was
sexual harassment.
Right. It was like a sport. You do that today, you're getting a sexual assault charge.
That's it.
Right? We had...
And that's strike one in California.
Absolutely. So we had issues like fighting, but now you catching a case and getting a major felony for getting into fights. So I tell my young men that I work with now, learn from this lesson, but be smarter than we were when we were going through this thing, because you guys have a lot more to lose. You have to be smart.
And they have access to so much great information. Could you imagine being in high school and having a computer or a smartphone?
Ain't that crazy?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, they actually have to pick up a... See, that's why I'm old school. Everybody says, I'll send you an ebook. No, you got to send me something I can touch and flip a page. I need to touch it. I need to go to sleep and wake up with the book on my chest. I can't do nothing with it.
We actually had to go to the library and like a needle
and
in a
research.
haystack. And I share with the young men, you guys have so much access to so much information that you guys shouldn't be ignorant of anything. You have the whole world at your hand. They never have to buy a book again, really. They have Google. They got Wikipedia. They have YouTube.
They don't even have to research anything. They can just Google it. And what I tell them when they say, well, we don't know who that is, Google it. Right. And they'll go, oh, yeah, well, Google that, And they need to know about their history. And they need to know about the good history, not just the gangsters and the drug dealers and the ball players and the entertainers.
And it can just start with their own personal family history. That's why I wanted to put this down for my very own kids. Part of our family study includes studying this book, because this is your history. There's so many young people that I know now, Mother Love, that don't even know who their grandparents are. I had a young man I was working
with. They don't know who their fathers are.
They don't have any history. And some of that history can draw strength to who they are, their character, their bloodline. I was working with a young group of those 9-year-old basketball players. This young man's name was Jackie Robinson Wilson. 9-year-old. He had no idea where his name came from. That's no reason.
And he named after two famous people.
I said, listen, you go home, and whoever opens up the door, ask them where you get your name from, and you come back tomorrow at practice and tell us. Do you know this young man came back? His chest was poked out. He was proud. He said, "I'm named after Jackie Robinson, the first Negro baseball player to break the color line." He was proud. He had a whole different swag and confidence about him just by learning the history of his name. And we had a healthy conversation about tolerance and racism, and that really propelled us. So I tell young people, learn your history. Starting with your own family. Now, I have a name in this book. I have a name that was given to me by an alcoholic.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I didn't think you was going to say that because your sister and them named you Deon. They was like, no, he ain't getting that. You
to this day, they want royalty checks from me just for giving me my name. And I thank them forever, because if they had they want to check everything in the mail every month.
Of course they want to check.
So it was I was supposed to be born in February, sometime mid-January, because of the screwdrivers. She had a little one too many and went to premature labor, and named me, her and this knucklehead she was with, gave me something that you wouldn't even find nowhere. Not in the ballpark.
Nowhere.
But thanks so much for my brother. They took me in the back after I got home. They looked at my birth certificate. They said, "Oh, heck no. They never spoke those words." And thank God for older brothers and sisters. They had a powwow and they came out with Deon.
Okay.
And I'm forever grateful.
Okay.
But that name is in the book.
Yes, it is. And you got to get the book to find out, because when you read it, you're going to be like, she did not do that to that child. Listen, there's a lady here in California. I met her twins. I haven't met her, but I met them when they were little kids. And their name is Orangelo and Lamangelo. And when you see it written down, it says orange jello and lemon jello. And I was like, what's wrong with these?
They're younger people.
These are younger people. I met a little boy, his mama named him Remy Martin.
Wow.
Why you do that to
afterwards? Dr. Marshall up in the Bay Area who runs the Street Shows program. He's
What's it called?
It's called Dr. Joe Marshall. He wrote a book called Street Soldier. He runs a program called Omega Boys and Girls Club in Northern California. He's a brilliant work with youth. He said, he quotes it this way. He said, something dramatically changed after crack. He called it AC and BC.
Right.
Before crack and after crack. And he's right on the money. He said the names changed. We lost that parental instinct. Things, all that old school Big Mama family love and unity.
Sunday dinners, going to church.
Right after crack. It left right after crack. And he was right on the money. And that's where you see these names after that, because that history and that family unity and that pride, it really went to haywire after crack, and we still haven't recovered from it. There's a young man up in the Bay Area that I worked with. The parents named him Gangsta in elementary school.
Wait, let me hold on to the keyboard.
Really is just starting.
And they're just setting him up for failure.
Absolutely.
My mother was a social worker, God rest her soul. Everybody in my family was social workers, you know, and I was like, you guys gonna be social workers? Oh, y'all crazy. Masters and PhD social workers, they, big time. And I was like, what is going on here? Why are we going through this? We need to put the premium back on education.
Absolutely.
We need to make sure we need to introduce our children to God, whomever we conceive God to be, and know that your little bubble head cannot make a blade of grass. AstroTurf does not count.
Right.
I'm talking about a blade of grass. You still can't make a baby. We have to do something better than what we're doing now. And this is what you're doing. Tell people what you want them to get from this book. And who really is your audience?
Thank you. It's a tough audience. Number one, I'm trying to reach a population that doesn't like to read. Young, I know it's young males, tough to get them to read. We're trying to reach people who don't think they need to be heard. So it's a challenging, but it's actually young adults, families, and parents. Anyone who works in any capacity with youth will benefit from Raised in Hell. Any parent, any youth that's going through any drama, which is everybody for that matter, they can draw
Welcome
strength.
to life, people.
And what I would like them to do is just take this and say, you know what, if someone can learn from this and draw strength to help them deal with their children a little bit better. There's a young person out there that's probably going through bullying, that's in here, probably going through poverty and violence, that's in here, gang paraphernalia, all type of stuff going on. It's all there.
And then on top of all of that, on top of all of that, all of the things that they're coming into the world, and the world is saying they're already starting with a negative. Now we are having issues of our children getting sicker. They're developing Alzheimer's, autism, and they have lupus, and they're coming down with type 2 diabetes at 12. Because they weigh 200 and 300 pounds because mama just gonna let them eat pizza and sit in front of TV. If you don't get your big behind out of here.
That was it.
Remember when we would go outside and run and jump and play, and then they said, well, it's too dangerous outside. Before we came out here, we lived in a neighborhood. I only have one son. I just wanted to see if my body worked. It did. Moving on. And so it was starting the advent of the gangs.
Right.
And so these boys are down at the end of the street. He's got to walk down the street to get on the bus to go to school. You know what I did? I went down and made friends with the guys on the corner. I'd take them down there, take them food, and take them, some sodas or whatever they wanted, some potato chips. I'd make them food and take it down there. And I said, all I want y'all to do is make sure my son get off the bus and he walk home. Y'all watch him walk home. Don't you know he never, ever, ever, him. And then everybody else started sending their kids down there. They was like, go down there. Mother love that.
Connected with them.
That's what you got to do. You got to connect
before you correct.
What kid...
Yeah.
Say it again.
Connect before you correct. That's a tool for any youth worker. So if someone interested in purchasing a book, then they can go to my website, which is Price Edutainment. I'll spell that PriceEdutainment. PriceEdutainment.com. And I give you a few treats there. If you order the book, I'll give you a signed copy. And from that site, you can also get a 20-minute little humorous video on a presentation. I
didn't get no video.
Well,
I didn't get a video. Ooh.
You're getting it live.
Yes, I have my own time with you. Yes. Well, I have to tell you, Deon, this has truly been a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much.
I just thank you so much for stepping through on your vision and on your assignment. Because when you're growing up, you don't think, I'm going out of this crazy town, and then you go right back into it.
Right.
Because God knew you were the right one to do this for his children. I so appreciate you, and may the universe, absolutely, when you come back, you can always come.
I will.
Because you got another book.
There you go.
May the universe continue to open up and conspire for your great success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, Deon D.Price. And you got to get the book to find out what his mama was going, what she named him. And we'll be, and you don't look like that guy at all.
Not at all.
Okay, I will be back.